Alright, y'all, this is Ron Goodall over here at FightHype.com with another episode of Believe the Hype. And on August 5th, 2023, American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz to fight on DAZN pay-per-view. The fight will be 8 rounds at 185 pounds with 10-ounce gloves. So, if you guys haven't already heard, there's the breakdown. This fight is actually happening. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are kind of sitting there after hearing Jake Paul's loss, thinking, why is he not fighting Tommy Fury back? Well, I'm here to break things down and give you a little bit of my reaction on why this fight might be happening. So, first and foremost, we all know Jake Paul has been on a pursuit of defeating his first professional boxers. He came up short against facing the brother of Tyson Fury, Tommy Fury. Now he returns back against another MMA guy, and I'm sure a lot of critics and skeptics are like, really? Another MMA guy? We need to see you get back, especially how much you said that you wanted that rematch. Now, me personally, I understand probably why the Nate Diaz fight is actually happening. The Nate Diaz fight is definitely huge. There's a lot of marketability in it. It does bring in a lot of MMA guys. A lot of people are very familiar with Nate Diaz, and some people even probably feel that this is probably an equal competitive or maybe even more of a dangerous fight than maybe Tommy Fury. Overall, personally, I do hope that if Jake Paul defeats Nate Diaz, then he will go after Tommy Fury. This might be a fight where he's able to showcase some of the things he works on, build a little bit of confidence after coming in his first loss. But at the same time, Nate Diaz is not coming over here just to lay down. Everyone's heard of how he has great hands. He's coming off of a win in UFC, 279 against Tony Ferguson. And even prior to that, he's hurt the current champ, Leon Edwards, with his hands. So I think this is definitely a fight where Jake Paul needs to kind of show the public that he's highly improved, that the Tommy Fury rematch would be completely different. And I think the only best way he can do it is by a spectacular knockout or just pure domination. Because Nate Diaz has never been completely flatlined, knocked out cold, just dismantled in recent times. I don't even think there is a time that he's been completely just out cold. So he's gonna have to have a performance like that to remind and let everybody know that he does have power and that maybe a rematch is warranted and things can change. So, but overall, I think we do want to see Jake Paul definitely go and face and defeat a professional boxer, because if not, losing to a Nate Diaz will destroy, the public perception of wanting to see him fight and continue on. He is 4-0 against MMA guys. This is his 5th MMA guy, so eventually the critics are still going to come back and say you got to beat a boxer, specifically Tommy Fury. But on the marketing side, this fight is still tremendous, it's still huge. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz has been a bad blood event, from social media to even the clips that you can see right here where Nate Diaz is getting into one of his team members. And I've been at 2 events, and it's always Nate Diaz being called out or is talked about, and Jake Paul has always wanted this fight. So it's officially going to be here. And I think that this fight can produce a lot of attention like it always does, and probably some high stake dramas here at certain points. Overall, Nate has attended 2 of his events to support his stablemate, but now he's going to be in the ring. Now, Jake Paul did put out statements in a press release, emailed out from his MVP promotion, that my last fight didn't end the way I wanted, but the result was the best thing that could have happened to my professional boxing aspirations. Now the world thinks I am vulnerable, when all I am is focused more than ever. My team wanted me to take an easy fight like KSI next, but that's not how I am built. Nate Diaz is considered one of the most badass fighters of all time, but he and his team have been running their mouths for too long, said Paul. People tell me Nate has been training with Andre Ward for years, that he has insane stamina, that he refuses to back down. Good for effing Nate. I haven't forgot about the slap backstage in Arizona, and on August 5th, a problem child is going to piece up and knock out the Stockton G. And just like you mentioned before, this is the clips that he was talking about specifically. So there is a lot of markability, there's definitely a storyline, and I think that people, regardless of what they say, will tune in and check it out. Now, Nate Diaz did make quotes in that same press release on why he took this fight, and he went on to mention that, besides Canelo, he's the biggest thing in boxing. I'm here to conquer that. I'm the king of the combat sports, and then I'm headed back to get my UFC belts, said Diaz. I effed up Conor for acting out, and now here I am again, like a superhero of the real fight game, the king of the real fight game. So, I do feel like once the the post conference happens and they get in each other's face, it's gonna be bananas. But at the same time, these two guys do have to prove something to the general public. Nate Diaz is an actual fighter and you're a YouTuber. And Jake Paul needs to get a win to solidify the reason why people should continue seeing him and why a Tommy Fury rematch is warranted. And then he can pursue his goal of defeating an actual professional boxer on his resume. But outside of that, we do have a potential KSI fight that could still probably go down, even if he loses to Nate Diaz, even if he loses to Tommy Fury. But I do think it's going to take a humongous hit to, the sales. I don't think people will be as interested. So this is definitely a make or break for both these guys. Nate Diaz has a tremendous, fanfare from the MMA guys, but him losing to Jake Paul would kind of tarnish some of that, unfortunately, to a lot of people. And in Jake Paul losing, it's done. The problem child will be solved once again. So overall, I do feel like this event is going to be very interesting. I'll probably be reporting on it, so I don't know. But overall, tell me what you guys think. Are you guys upset about the fact that it's not Tommy Fury again? Are you excited that it's Nate Diaz? Are you upset that it's another MMA guy? Do you think Nate Diaz is able to actually knock out Jake Paul? And do you think Jake Paul is actually able to knock out Nate Diaz? There's so many questions, but we'll be able to get the answers on this date below on August 5th, Dallas, Texas, on DAZN. And if you want a little bit more information about this stuff, you can reach out to me right here. Follow FightHype. We'll do more shows to believe the hype. And give me all your thoughts in the comments below. Until then, that's another one.